All right, guys, I am here with Melissa Llado, and she is from Serendipity Spice as well as melissallado.com. And we are going to be talking about why you need a WordPress for your Mompreneur site. So I'm going to let Melissa actually just kind of introduce herself and get right into it. So Melissa, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, I started Serendipity and Spice almost 6 years ago as a stay-at-home mom that was just looking for something to do, earn a little bit of extra money, and now I've grown that site to supporting my family. It's my full-time business. So I do a lot of, the whole site is about embracing the happy accidents that create the spice of life. So it's just enjoying the mess that the kids make while they're young. It's getting in the kitchen and just playing with them, trying out new recipes and crafts. And you know what? Life's messy and that's okay. So
I love it. I always have loved what you've put together. And for those that don't know, Melissa and I have kind of grown up together in the blogging world. And Melissa and I both have been around for about 6 years, right around the same time, and we've worked together on various different things. Now, Melissa, you have Serendipity and Spice, but you also have this other site that you have launched as well that kind of connects to your conference that you have next September. Tell me a little bit about Melissa Llado.
okay, Melissa Llado, Melissa Llado.
Sorry.
It's okay. No. So the last name is hard. It's Melissallado. So I've gotten to where I always spell it when I say it. So it is a site for mompreneurs who are looking to turn their business to the next level, to start building a blog. I have several courses on there that go into how do you start a blog, how do you build a blog, what are all the technical aspects. It breaks it down so that you just walk step by step through it, and you've got me holding your hand the whole way. And then, as you grow your blog, there are sessions for building that perfect landing page. There's, a spellbinding about me page.
There you go. You're fine. You got it.
Completely gone. So creating a spellbinding about me page. And I am working on an affiliate course on how to monetize your website with affiliates so that it's completely passive income. And so that's what I'm working on over there, which leads into Blog Life University, which is the conference that this is the third year that we are doing the conference. And that is my passion project. That is the thing that brings me, I think, the most joy out of the whole year.
And what is it about, would you say, about the conference that makes you feel that way?
It's the connections that people make at the conference because we keep it small, we keep it intimate. I call it a boutique style conference because we cap it at 150 people so that attendees don't ever feel like they're that lone kid in the lunchroom that walks in on the first day of school and is, heart racing going, where am I going to sit? Because my goal for that is to make it so it's not intimidating to go to your first conference and to find a tribe and build a tribe in that conference, and then connect with the speakers and feel like you have the opportunity to just raise your hand and ask a question and nobody's going to say, oh my gosh, she's interrupting a speaker. That's the whole point. And I had that conversation with my speakers ahead of time that give people a chance to talk during your speech. Don't talk at them, talk with them. So it's all about conversations and building that connection with people.
Love it. And I actually had an opportunity to be one of your speakers last year, and it was definitely that boutique style that you talk about. Absolutely amazing. I made some great connections with people, and I did, even as a speaker. I guess I've always kind of been used to being interrupted, being a teacher, so it was a natural kind of thing for me to kind of answer questions in the middle, and I felt like people got a lot more out of what I was going to say because they were able to say, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Go back. Let me, clarify what you're stating there. So I absolutely loved that about it. Now we are going to get into the WordPress, but I can't not let you talk about Blog Life University because I'm so excited about it. Tell everybody where it is this year and like how they can find out information. Give a little bit of information about it.
Okay, Blog Life University is being held at the Great Wolf Lodge up here in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you haven't heard of the Great Wolf Lodge, it is an amazing resort that all the rooms are suites, and it has an 80,000 square foot water park located inside of it. So even though it's September, we will still be able to utilize the water park because it's indoors and heated, and your night stay includes tickets to the water park. They also have like a Dave & Buster's in the basement. They have a movie theater. They have restaurants. They have a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like obsessed with the fact that they have a Dunkin' Donuts. I think because I have to have my Dunkin' Donuts coffee every morning, and I'm like, oh, they have a Dunkin' Donuts. So, but yeah, it's going to be a fantastic time. And one thing about Blog Life University is I love to encourage people to bring their families, because sometimes as bloggers, our families don't get it. They're like, well, I don't even understand what you're doing. And it's so important to get your spouse on board. So just bringing them to a conference and saying, hey, take the kids to the water park while I go in my sessions. And then having your spouse meet other spouses makes a huge difference. I know that when my husband Luis met some of the spouses at the first Blog Life University, it changed his entire perspective, and he was very gung-ho about everything blogging, and now he's working toward being able to be at home with me and help me with the blog. So that is our ultimate goal. But it makes such a huge difference having your spouse totally supportive behind you. So
Absolutely.
That's why we love having them. So you can find out, I got off on a total tangent there.
But I think it's important to state that because I do feel like my audience especially is a lot of moms that are trying to make this from a side hustle into a full-time profession. And part of it is getting the husbands on board. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. So Yes. So now you were going to say, where can you find tickets?
Okay, so you can find tickets at bloglifeuniversity.com, and that will share all of the information. We got an amazing rate at the resort of $129.99 a night, and that includes your tickets to the water park, and they are waiving the resort fee. So usually there's a $30 resort fee as well that they are waiving. And tickets, you can get $50 off when you use code Jenny. So that is bloglifeuniversity.com.
Perfect. All right. So now let's get into this whole WordPress thing. So something that I need to say before we get started is you're aware of this, but I don't know if my audience totally is. I'm not a tech savvy person. And this portion of like WordPress and the back end of things scares the crap out of me. So I'm excited about this because I feel like when I was trying to do this portion of my site, there weren't a ton of resources out there. And I love that you're putting together something that makes it so much easier. So let's talk a little bit about WordPress. Isn't it just WordPress is it just for bloggers?
No. WordPress now, maybe 6 years ago when we started, it was probably just for bloggers, but it has grown so much that it can be a fully housed website. If you want to start a store, you can start a store with WordPress. There are plugins galore that you can turn WordPress into any kind of website that you want, whether it be a store, an online store, if it's your portfolio, if you're a photographer or even an actor or model, it can be your portfolio. It can be your for your coaching business. It can be for your direct sales business. Any of those, you can take WordPress and turn it into the website that you want. I love using WordPress because you don't have to have that technical knowledge because there are so many plugins now. When we first started, I know I had to teach myself HTML code, and I'm horrible at all that type of stuff. I am not tech savvy at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a computer that got destroyed because I was trying to do HTML and I was just like, no, through a window. But no. So how can mompreneurs with other businesses use it, you think? You kind of gave some ideas of like portfolios and things like that. So what about like Etsy shops? How would they possibly be able to use it that way?
Okay, as an Etsy shop, you can actually move your Etsy shop onto WordPress because you could have a WooCommerce is an entire theme or plugin theme that turns your website into a shop. So you're no longer having to pay all of Etsy's fees. Have a few of your good, like best-selling items on Etsy to get your client base, and then have them go to your website to see everything else that you have. And then you don't have to pay all those extra fees on Etsy when people buy your stuff through there. And you can get SSL certificates. I know that's like technical jargon, but it's very easy to add that on. You can add on all sorts of security measures to be able to take payments. And honestly, what I do is anything that I sell through my website, I use PayPal anyway because it's secure. Everybody uses it. It's one of the most common things. So, that's one way that you can save money and you can build your list and you get them off of Etsy. Because the thing about Etsy is it's great for getting that initial person on, but there's so much competition now that you want to get your loyal raving fans over to you. Build your own list. So have an opt-in for them, offer them a discount to get on your list. And then you can start targeting people that already love your stuff and know your quality even more. So that's what I say for Etsy, Etsy shops. If you have like a direct sales business, like let's say that you're into oils, or 31 bags are huge right now, makeup, all the different, there's, LuLaRoe, Youngnique. I mean, there's so many different ones, so many out there.
Yes.
And you got to do something that sets yourself apart. So yeah, these companies give you a website or you pay a monthly website for people to be able to go on and shop there. And that's fine, but you need something that sets you apart from, like, I don't know how many Mary Kay women I knew growing up, but there seemed to be one like all over the place. So by setting yourself apart, you build your website so that you build your own list so that you can still direct them to your website that sells the actual product. But you build this website and you put makeup tips on there, like videos on how you use the makeup, or, like videos on LuLaRoe. How do you set up a capsule wardrobe using LuLaRoe? All of those different ones that they have. I know, what's the one? Tastefully Simple. You can do recipes and show how you make recipes so that your customers come to that when they want to make something. They go to your site instead of going to the site that, the business site, so that then you can add on. And if you decide, well, okay, I've got this going really well, I want to add in something else, you have that ability where you don't have that with a company website.
No, absolutely.
So that makes sense.
No, it totally does. You're creating content kind of like the way bloggers do, except now you have a product that's physical that you're actually able to then put out there. And then when you create that content, you're able to use all of social media like we do. Pinterest, Facebook, whatever else. Whereas if you don't have your own website, you're not going to be able to do that. You're just another person out there doing an MLM. So totally makes sense. So now, why do you feel bloggers need to be on WordPress?
Okay, so the reason that bloggers need WordPress is because brands want bloggers on WordPress. And if you want to make money, you need to be on WordPress. You need to be on WordPress.org, not WordPress.com. Okay. The reason being is that brands take bloggers that actually pay for hosting, pay for self-hosted website, pay have their own domain name. They take them more seriously. They know that they're in there for the long haul. They're not, going to have their site for a few months and get bored. So because brands want an ongoing relationship, they want to be able to build that relationship with you. I mean, you have working with brands. Like when a brand looks at a website, if they look at Blogger website, they go, yeah, they're doing pretty well, but are they going to be here next year?
Right.
Like, am I going to pay them to create content and then that content's just going to disappear because they've decided to shut down their website?
Right.
When they look at a WordPress.org website, they know that you've got a little bit into it. You've invested in it. You're serious about taking, your business to the next level. So that's why I always say WordPress.org. So that's why.
No, that makes sense. And then when you are on WordPress.org, for those that don't know in my audience, you also have to have hosting. So you can do hosting through a multitude of people that are out there, and they have all different plans. And some of it is relatively affordable. More if you have a lot of traffic, you would obviously need a larger plan. But I'm not even sure it's been
starting out. You can get plans as low as $50 a year. I have several sites that will do, $50 for a year of hosting, and a lot of times they'll throw in your domain name for free when you pay for a full year up front. So hosting nowadays, you can get it really inexpensive, and for starting out, that's all that you need. Now, obviously, once you hit, I would say probably about 50 to 75,000 page views a month is when you're going to have to upgrade. But even then, I'm at 200,000 page views a month, and I think I pay $300 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not bad. I mean, when you take into consideration, I make minimum $3,000 a month, $300 a year. Okay, I'm going to pay that so I can continue making my $3,000 a month on affiliates. So because that's all passive income, that doesn't count anything that I do as far as sponsored posts or advertisements or anything like that. That is all just my affiliate income. So.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to state that in order to have a business, you do have to invest a little bit. And $50 for a year is nothing compared to what it can end up growing as your business. And I look at my expenses and go, holy crap, there's a lot of different things going out. But okay then.
Yeah. I mean, to set up your WordPress website, I would say that you should budget between $100 to $300. Just like you would for if you were investing into a marketing program, an MLM, a direct sales, anything like that, you're going to have that little bit of upfront cost. But because you are going to want, a nice theme, a nice design, and all of that, you want to have all of those components together as well. So, but starting your own business that you own 100% of, and that's the thing, is that you own 100% of your WordPress site. You don't own, just a portion of it, or you don't have so much sales you have to meet every month in order to get paid. You have that, and that's yours. And whatever business you're in, whether you're doing, you're selling your own homemade items on there, you're, supplementing with your direct sales on there, you can add ads onto there. You can add in affiliates. So, if you're into essential oils, you can go onto Amazon and add in different pieces of jewelry that, you can use with the essential oils. You can add in all of these other little affiliate commissions that go with the items that you're selling and earn additional income that way. And it's all yours. You're not having to split it with a company or split it with somebody else. So.
Right. No, that makes total sense. So now when I started off, I started on Blogger because that was the thing to do. Like you started on Blogger and then you made this huge transition over, which was scary as crap. One of the things though that I remember when I was on Blogger that really freaked me out is kind of like what you were just talking about as how you don't necessarily own it. As I remember a bunch of sites all of a sudden just vanishing. Like they were shut down, all the content was gone, and because they couldn't back anything up like you can on WordPress, it was gone.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when you go onto a free site like Blogger or Tumblr or any of those free sites, if you read the fine print, they own your content. They own that site. If they feel like you are violating their terms of service at all, they can shut you down. Even WordPress.com actually has in their term of service that you cannot monetize with WordPress.com. That's why I always tell people go with WordPress.org, because if they catch you monetizing on WordPress.com, legally they can take it all. Anything that you've earned is theirs because you've used their platform to earn that money. And with Blogger, if they feel like they just decide that there was a big blogger, I can't remember who it was, that she was on Blogger and her entire site just vanished. I know it's like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was either. That's exactly who I think I'm thinking of, but I don't remember who it is.
Yeah. And because Blogger didn't agree with something that she wrote one day. And I honestly think it was a post that I would have been kicked off of Blogger for, but I think it was a post on like miscarriage. And that's one of my, biggest posts right now. Because that's something that, most people don't want to talk about. And Blogger just decided that they didn't want that kind of information, I guess, on their platform. And so it went away. So that's why I always say be self-hosted. $50 a month to make sure that your business, or $50 a year to make sure your business doesn't go anywhere when you're paying for hosting is worth every single penny.
Yes. Yeah. So now we kind of use the words, well, we talk about WordPress, but then there's a WordPress.org and a WordPress.com. And you've kind of talked about it. Go into the specific details of how they're different.
Okay. So WordPress.com is the free platform of WordPress, and that is hosted by WordPress. And with WordPress.com, you are not allowed to monetize your site. Any income that you make from your site belongs to WordPress. So basically, in the same sense that Blogger can shut you down for any reason, WordPress.com can do the exact same thing, and they can ask you to pay them all the money that you've earned. So WordPress.org is the platform that you install onto your own website. And you can do whatever you want with WordPress.org because it's basically it's just a software program that you're installing in order to build your site. So it doesn't have any of the hosting. It's still a free software program that you get to use. But you host it on your own site and you own everything that's on that. And I love WordPress.org because it takes all of the tech out of blogging because you can find plugins for everything. There are tutorials all over the place for how to get something done on WordPress.
So you just use the word plugin. What exactly? So I do now know what a plugin is. Asked me 2 years ago, I would have been like, a what? But explain how a plugin works and like what it can actually do. Okay.
So let's say that I want to add a pop-up box on my website and for somebody to subscribe to my newsletter. It used to be that I would have to learn HTML code and design it and know my hex colors. And I know I'm talking like all sorts of stuff that has people's heads spinning. You used to have to do all that. And then you would have to go into your actual code of your website, which is the back end with all of the funky numbers and letters that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's usually a black screen with white writing. And you would have to find the spot to paste all of that into and hope that you didn't crash your site. Like every time I would do any type of HTML changes on my site, I would cross my fingers and pray and then go click on my site and hope that it would come up. But now with a plugin, all I do is I go into WordPress, I click the plugin that I want, I type in the information that I want to come up. If there's specific colors, I just type it into a little box that they already have nice and organized for me. And then I press install. And that's it. And I don't have to worry that my site is going to be broken. I don't have to worry that I, put a period where I should have put a slash or, because any little thing that you do in HTML code will completely change the entire look of your site. So developers come out with plugins that make it super simple. It's like plug and play. Basically, like if you think about your DVD player, it used to be you had all these different wires. Like when we were kids, like my dad would be behind the TV trying to figure out which wire went where and plugging it all in. Whereas now you literally have one cable that you plug into the back of the TV that only fits in one spot, and then your DVD player works.
Right.
So it's kind of like the same thing with plugins. Basically, you just find the one you want, you put in what you want, and then you press enter, and it does everything for you.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great explanation of it. I love the DVD player because I would do, and my dad used to get so frustrated. And I know why. Like I try to throw computers because he probably threw the DVD a couple times. You know how it goes. But okay, so that makes total sense. And you can also use it plugins for like things like social media, buttons. There's so many. Now, the one thing I do want to ask is because we do talk about site speed. So when you're talking plugins, it can slow your site down. How many plugins would you recommend about?
I am the wrong person to ask about that because right now I currently have like 30 plugins on my site. Okay. But I pay for a premium plugin that speeds up your site.
There you go.
So yeah, there's a plugin for the plugins.
I love it. I'm that type of person that loves that. That is hysterical. So you have something for my audience, which I'm really excited about, that everybody's going to be able to go on to jennymelrose.com/podcast3. And you have a 5-step guide to setting up WordPress. And it's actually a video series, which, let's be honest, I love, because when I actually have to read through all this jargon, I'm like, what is she talking about? But a video series is awesome. So tell us a little bit about the video series of, is it over multiple days, or how does it going to work?
Okay, so it's going to be 5 videos that are already pre-recorded and ready to go. So all you have to do is sign up. You'll get the instructions for where to go on my Teachable site to be able to see each of the videos. And it's going to walk you through choosing a name, how to get a domain name, how to get hosting, and it's going to walk you through those steps and how to put WordPress onto your hosting site. And then it's also going to walk you through the back end of WordPress to show you how you can easily set up WordPress.
Perfect. Okay, so guys, again, that's jennymelrose.com/podcast3. That they will be all of the show notes, but you'll have the specific link so that you can get the video series, so that you can get started, get your business up and running, and get ready and going for 2017. So one of the last questions I always like to ask my audience, Melissa, is what do you project? What do you see happening in 2017 as far as for businesses, small businesses, online businesses like ourselves? What do you see coming into play as being like the newest and greatest thing?
Honestly,
totally putting you on the spot.
I know. It's all going toward influencer marketing. Everything that I'm reading is saying that influencer marketing is really taking off in 2017. Brands are finally putting money and chunks of money into brands, or not into brands, but into influencer marketing. And they're not solely looking at the super large influencers. They're now looking at the smaller influencers because they realize that those that have a smaller following have a more loyal following. And so therefore they actually have more influence. So that's where we're headed. There's going to be a lot more campaigns out there. And I think a lot more brands are now confident enough to work directly with bloggers and social influencers and people with websites. So even if you're not using your website and your social media as a blog, or you're using it as an extension to your business, you can still take part in that influencer because you still have influence over the people that you know and the people that come to you and purchase from you and buy from you. you still have the ability to go in and start making money as an influencer as well.
So I have to just make this disclose totally about this. I did not tell her to say that because I know you guys know that I have this whole course on working with brands. You're all going to think that I tried to get her to say that. Totally did not get Melissa to say that. That's just, it is the forecast. So I would look into working with brands. And you can also be sure that if you are not already part of our Influencer Entrepreneurs Facebook group, it's a closed Facebook group. It's a huge growing community. Please make sure that you join in on the conversations in there. It is a great group. We have a ton of conversations going on. So thank you so much, Melissa, for taking the time to speak with me. I know how crazy it is in between with all the kids and running here and running there. So I appreciate it so much.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. All right. I will talk to all you guys soon, and be sure to check out JennyMelrose.com/podcast3 to sign up for Melissa's video series.